Yo,
What is
Hello,
going
hi
on?
everybody. Thanks for having me.
you're welcome,
Thanks.
brother. Welcome to the interview of my good buddy here, Sean Henderson, indie pro wrestler, aka my buddy from high school.
Hell yeah,
Uh,
man. Thanks for having me.
you're welcome, brother. You know, you're the first pro wrestler we had on our channel, so
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for
yeah,
giving me
so you're
this
the very
huge
first.
honor. Oh, that's
Absolutely.
awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome, bro. So let's talk about this big match you have here with Paul London.
Oh, it's
Uh,
it's the
how,
biggest match, man. I can't believe it.
how you feeling? You got nerves? You got butterflies going?
It's the weirdest feeling I've had because it's like a mixture of like the most like mentally the most nervous I've ever been, but at the same time, like I want to say like the most confident I've ever been because like I feel like because this has been a match that I've wanted since I even thought about getting into wrestling, and I'm so confident that I'm at my peak. I'm at my I'm freshly healed from my shoulder injury a year ago. I feel amazing physically and mentally, so I feel like everything came together at the perfect time for this. So I'm beyond excited and confident. I can't wait. We're only three weeks away, so I'm so excited.
Yeah. Yes, 3 weeks
So,
away, people. 3 weeks
Yeah.
away. Rob, you got a question for our boy here?
honestly, when I looked at the card for that event, the fact you have two former WWE tag champs on the card,
Yeah.
how like does that even give you like a nostalgia trip for those who remember those days where when Brian
But
Kendrick
guess what, Rob? Guess what? I just thought of something.
shoot.
Both halves of that tag team are going to be on the show.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I'm saying.
Both halves.
That's so it's incredible because it's funny and yeah, absolutely like and I'm not just saying this because I'll be on the show with Brian and I'm wrestling Paul, but like when I say this is my dream match, like Paul London, my dream match, I mean it in every conceivable way. Like when I was, 7 years old, 8 years old, 9 years old, like I loved watching Paul London and I loved London and Kendrick. They were easily my favorite tag team. I used to rewatch them versus Eminem from Judgment Day '06 and them versus Casey James and Al Stevens from No Mercy '06 as a kid because I had the DVDs over and over again. So like it's mind-boggling. It's crazy to think like 10, 15 years ago, I was idolizing them. I had the Adrenaline 2-pack that they came out with their figures like and now I'm on a show with them and now I'm wrestling one of them. It's unreal. It's something that it just means so much to me. It's such an honor. It's something that's really really touches my heart. I'm super super happy, super honored. It's insane to think about.
It really is
Now,
because Tyrus told me so much. Well, because like I said, told me much more about you because the fact that you also
I
showed up on the
basically
GC.
ranted and raved about you, dude. Like,
Oh,
I can't
thank
believe
you.
this guy.
But the
know?
fact that he told me you were on a GCW event, it's like, are you out
I
of
was
your
like, holy shit.
goddamn
I
mind?
saw him on a post of yours. I'm like, holy shit, he was in ECW? What the hell?
Yeah, that was a blast too. Like what an honor. I was so happy that I got to do Game Changer Wrestling, Backyard Wrestling 5. The Backyard Wrestling show is such a huge show every year, and I'm so honored and lucky that I was able to be a part of it. I love the match. I thought the match was a lot of fun, so thank you.
So
Yeah, I was telling
another,
Rob, though. I was like, he's at GCW. I expect him to be on like AEW TV, on my TV in AEW or something
I
like,
hope so. I would love to.
every
I
week.
hope so.
like when you did that one match with GCW, like, did you really like meet guys like Joey Janela? I don't think who else is there besides other the one notable names.
You have
Yeah,
Joey Janela there.
Was Mark,
You
did you ever get a chance to meet Mark
you
Cardona?
have mostly appearances from like John Moxley and stuff too.
Yeah,
For
so
GCW.
the Backyard Wrestling 5 show that I was on, Janela was in the main event actually. Cardona was not there, Moxley wasn't there because Moxley was in Japan. He was teaming with Homicide versus Jun Kasai and El Desperado. But Janela was super cool. His match was a lot of fun. So the locker room was awesome. They were super welcoming, super nice. Like it was just a great time. I had a blast.
Because
That's
my thing
awesome,
is too, it's like if you're ever gonna work with GCW, it's like, man, I think you have more guts than what I whatever would have. So first of all,
man.
get smashed with light tubes. It's just like
Yeah. It was
Two
funny.
freaking glass panes. I'm like, damn,
Yeah.
dude.
it's like
Yeah, I got lucky because there's fortunately no glass in my match, but the end was Cole Radrick came off a big forklift, gave me an elbow drop off it through a door, and it was terrifying because like I was on the door and I was like looking up, but like when they were raising him up because it was an outdoor show, he got lost in the sun. I couldn't see him
damn.
because like I was looking up and I was like, oh man, I don't know when he's gonna come down because I can't see what. So I was like, I had my eyes closed and I was like bracing because I was like, oh man, I couldn't see him, but it turned out great. What a great experience. What a
I mean,
great
I
time.
bet you probably had your you probably had your anxiety, running through your veins. It's like, oh shit, I lost him. It's like, oh boy,
Yeah.
like it's like one wrong move and everything's gonna go straight to hell. But I
yeah,
mean,
that's why I was like, it was one of those things where like the expression of like hope for the best but expect the worst, like just hope for the best, and everything worked out. So I hope correctly. It went well.
In other words, my guy's laying on the ground while the guys are he's like shit.
I know. I was like, oh, dude. I got lucky.
it's really awesome to hear. But my other question is, where do you actually start? Where do you actually start your training? When you got into this business.
Yeah, so I started training actually when I was 17 years old. I was in my junior year of high school, and Matt Tremont had messaged me, and he had messaged me. I'll never forget it. I still have the message. It was I was on my lunch in high school, and he sent me a message saying like, "Hey, Sean," because he had seen me from wrestling shows. I used to attend wrestling shows as a fan, and he said, "Hey, I'm starting up a wrestling school. Like, I'm training wrestlers, managers, announcers, like referees. Were you interested in breaking into the business?" And absolutely, I was actually planning on breaking in much later. Like, I want to graduate high school first. But when Matt Tremont messaged me, I was like, "Oh yeah, let's start now. Like, I'd love to." So I was in the first class of Matt Tremont students. This was like 3 years before he actually opened up the H2O wrestling school. So it wasn't really like a school. Like, we trained at a wrestling school that was owned by Jim Molyneux, who owned Old Time Wrestling. That was the school, but I was being trained separately from their school. Matt Tremont was training me. So I started training in November 2015 and never looked back. I started in a class of 9, and I think by the 3rd week, I was the only one left in the class that hadn't quit. So I was a class of 1 of 1, which is something that really proud of. Very, very proud of.
Thank God bless you.
Thank you.
Because it's like when I'm thinking
awesome.
because usually when someone I've seen people like who go to the Monster Factory. That's I think that's
the Monster Factory. Yeah,
and they're a great school. They're a great school.
Yeah,
but isn't how's it like? I don't know if you ever been back to. I mean, do you ever still visit H2O wrestling from time to time? Like, we're not on shows and stuff like that. Just a surprise, like a surprise appearance or something like that.
Yeah, I was actually just there last weekend to give flyers out actually for the August show because there were other shows running in the building. And yeah, like I'll always have love for H2O. I'll always love that place. It did so much for me, and I'm happy. I'm super happy with what I'm doing right now in wrestling. I had the biggest match of my life. Not just in my career, in my life. Like, this is when people are growing up, they want to be. They have all their dream jobs. They envision getting married and all this other stuff. I always wanted to have this match with Paul London. This is everything I've ever wanted. So I'm super excited for the future, especially what lies ahead for me in 3 weeks. So I'm very, very excited.
I will say this, man. I'm living vicariously through you because when I was a kid, I've wanted to be a wrestler and I can't because of like my disability and stuff. So I'm like living vicariously through you with all this. So I was really giddy when I saw that when I saw that on Facebook that you were facing Paul London. I went crazy.
Thank you so much. I
was like, holy shit!
How much that means. Like, thank you. I hope I do everybody proud in 3 weeks, man. I'm looking to have the match of my life. So thank you very much.
Like, me and Tyler were actually, I think we were talking about this a few days before. So it's like, I'm thinking, he's been into. I mean, look, Game Changer. Yes, he may not be the biggest promotion by any standards, but big enough to the point where it's like that's big enough where it starts with the independent scene. It's like, and like I said, learning through Tyler, kind of learning about you and like all the hard work kind of put into it. I'm thinking to myself, like I said, sooner or later you're going to see either WWE might actually take a look at you, AEW, maybe Impact if you come knocking on your door. Like there's a lot of opportunities that lie ahead, and the fact you're going
look like let's look, for instance, we were talking about another wrestler at that time. We were talking about Nick Wayne, and then you got brought up.
Dude, I love Nick Wayne. Nick Wayne's such a good dude. I'm so happy for him. So happy for Nick.
Oh, he is absolutely killing it in AEW. He is absolutely killing it. He's now on a storyline with Swerve Strickland now, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And thank you so much for those kind words, Rob. I really appreciate hearing that. Like, thank you. That's definitely the goal. Like, I feel like, the injuries I've had over the couple of years have like definitely, they put some little, fork in the roads for me of like progress I was making to, because there were a lot of things I was supposed to do before I got hurt that I kept thinking, man, maybe this would help me here and here, but all I can do is look to the future. And I really believe that the future I have ahead of me, something like that is very likely. So thank you for saying that. I really do appreciate that.
Like I said, anything is possible. And, and, I've seen some, and boy, talk about some of these other independent workers that I've seen in the big time. Yeah, it may be his genres, but they've shown flashes. A guy, like I said, like Nick Wayne, who I really didn't know much about at the time, knowing that he was Darby Allin's protege.
Yeah.
And seeing guys that's like, I think sometimes it's like, how do these guys even, really are willing to put their bodies on the line for our entertainment? Because for me, I would never had the stomach to actually would do that, because it's like, there's like with one wrong move, like I said, I can have a bust up shoulder or I've seen a guy like Penta break arms that, I'd rather keep my stuff, my body intact.
Same. Yeah. It definitely takes its toll on you. You know what I mean? It's one of those things, I've separated shoulders. I've torn muscles in my right arm. Like it's you definitely feel it, but like it's the thrill of being a professional wrestler in front of that crowd and doing what you do. I can't even put into words. It is one of those things where like to understand it, you'd have to experience it, because it's unlike any other feeling in the world. It's crazy.
It really is. I mean, what do you like since been always in New Jersey for as long as me and Tyler can remember, like, like especially with Game Changer Wrestling, when you first had that experience in that event, like what was your mindset going into a place like GCW that's known mostly for death matches in terms with John Moxley, Matt Cardona?
Yeah. It just meant the world. It really meant so much to me that like that they were having me for that show. It meant so much because I do believe that Game Changer Wrestling is the #1 wrestling promotion in the world. I do. Bottom of my heart, I feel like they have the best show. I feel like the best shows. I feel like they have the best roster, their quality, the consistency. So it just meant everything that, that they had me on that show. I was super happy with how the match went. And as you were saying, it just meant so much that like when you go on Cage Match Database and you see for like the year of Game Changer Wrestling, like the people who wrestled there, like Matt Cardona, John Moxley, like Nick Wayne, like, and then you just see Sean Henderson. It really means a lot that like, I was able to do that. It really meant so much to me.
Sometimes I kind of wonder, like, you got very lucky not to cross paths with John Moxley, but I say, yeesh.
That guy's slightly psychotic on TV.
Just a little bit, yeah.
I literally had to like do a double take seeing that whole show and that like the recap of the show on these wrestling dirt sheets, and I'm like, wait a minute, my buddy's name is in this.
Yeah,
what the hell?
It's wrestling's the best thing ever, man. I'm so lucky that I get to do what I get to do. It's awesome.
It really is, and like I said, Harburg does not go unappreciated. I mean, yes, in terms you have to start off somewhere small, but the fact you went to GCW has some really good notable names, and let's be real, it's some batshit crazy stuff that goes along with that promotion. But when you met Joey Janela, like, I know there was a lot of things that people kind of think he was a complete asshole, but like when you saw Joey Janela, what was he really like, in the locker room?
Joey was super nice, super cool. He was very nice. I didn't get to talk to Joey like too much, but it's funny. I actually had like a poster from like when I was going to shows as a fan from like 2015 that I was actually like showing him, like, because I know Joey, keeps a good amount of the stuff that he's on. So I actually like showed him this poster in case he like didn't have it. So Joey was actually really nice. I didn't get to talk to him like too much because I was like I was so like in my head about like what I had coming up that I was like trying to get in the zone. But yeah, the couple interactions I had with Joey, he was very nice. Actually, he was very nice.
Because it's like, because me and Tara talked about it, because we've seen this a lot in the wrestling news. Like people was like, "Oh, this like he kind of acts like a complete asshole." Boy, they were like talking a lot of talk in a way, talking some smack in it on it.
Yeah,
So that's why.
there was a few wrestlers, I think in AEW that said something about him, and he wasn't like, the
Like the most
nicest
well
guy
liked
to
guy in the
them or whatever. He was a cancer in that locker room, and that was. But also Rob, you have to chalk it up as it was just being dirt sheet
Yeah,
yeah,
crap
exactly,
that was being
exactly.
speaking.
I always go by like how people treat me and my interactions with them, and Joey Janela was super nice, super kind, super cool to me. So I have no bad words to say about him. Joey was very nice to me when I saw him a couple weeks ago.
even though it God, I mean, look, God bless guys like you, Joey Janela, and guys like that. It's, I mean, look, go back to what I said earlier. Like, the fact you were lucky not to cross paths with John Moxley. I mean, I'm thinking to myself, boy, if he ever cross paths, let's just hope he does not bust out a fucking dining fork, because holy
Yeah.
Christ.
That shit hurts, man. Yeah, yeah. Everything was super cool, man. The GCW locker room was so nice and so kind to me a couple weeks ago. I was very happy. I was very happy, and I hope to be back. I'd love to wrestle Janela. If that was on the table. Like, there's a lot of cool
Shit.
things ahead in wrestling. I'd love. Can't say enough good things about Joey, and can't say enough good things about that locker room. So,
Like, when you got into GCW, like, were you really nervous? It's like, oh, like you're like in terms of the size of the indies, it's like you're at the big time in terms of the indie promotions. Like, did you have nerves? Were you anxious?
oh, it was funny. One of my best friends, Jimmy Lloyd, called me, and he was like, "Hey, you're never gonna believe this, but you're on the Backyard Show." And I thought he was kidding. I was like, "No, no, really, like, are you serious?" He's like, "No, I'm being serious." And I paused, and I was like, "No, he's joking. Like, there's no way." And he's like, "No, I mean it. Like, I just like you're on the show." And and then it started sinking, like, oh my gosh, thank you, Jimmy. I can't believe it. Like, thank you. Like, I was so taken aback that I was just like, wow, like, that's so fucking awesome. Like, I'm so happy. Like, because I really do think that ECW is number one. Like, I genuinely think that. So,
I can't disagree
for
with
them
that.
to be so nice and accommodating to have me, on their show, it really, really meant a lot. It's something that really means a lot that they were kind enough to have me for.
Yeah, I
And
have to agree. I have to agree there because I see the two bigger indie promotions. I see GCW and Defy being like the gateway
Yeah,
towards the bigger shows like AEW, Impact, WWE,
yeah,
and that sort of thing. Like that's
yeah,
how I look at it. They're the upper echelon when it comes to indie wrestling. I do see that.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
and you know when like I said, I usually I was constantly learn about you through Tyler, because I know you guys been close during your time at Triton. Because for me,
Yeah,
I was at Gloucester
Yeah, we
at
were
the
like
time.
this in training.
yeah,
Hell, there was like
yeah,
there was
right.
that one time
Yeah.
there was that one time I was in the hospital having surgery. He's over here gifting me action figures and a T-shirt.
Oh,
Like
It's
I still
like,
remember that. I still remember that, man. And I don't know how the hell you knew I liked AJ Styles, but you gave me an AJ Styles figure. It
Oh,
was
dude, I
really cool.
love AJ. Legend, man.
Yeah.
and it's like, like, besides Paul London, like, did you ever have any other dream matches that you would like to have? I mean, because you're what, like 5 years into your career? How long have
Yeah. So were 6. Oh wait, right? Yeah, because 2007. I'm sorry, I'm terrible with math. So,
you and
yeah,
me both?
6 years. Yeah, 6 years in. I was about to say, so June 2017. Yeah, I have plenty of dream matches when I started in wrestling. I know right now, like for current ones, Speedball Mike Bailey's at the top of the list.
Ooh,
Paul. I'd love to
okay.
wrestle Speedball. I'm trying to think who else. Like,
Damn.
I'm trying to think of like international guys too that I'm like. I feel bad because I know that once we're done this, I'm gonna be like, oh man, I want to wrestle that guy too. But I'm like, I'm on the
Okay,
spot. I'm like,
or let me put it in this way: like, what promotions, like, are you like, are those guys coming from? We're talking about like AAA down in Mexico, CMLL, maybe New Japan. You might take a look.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to wrestle internationally, especially in Mexico. I love the lucha libre style. I think El Hijo del Vikingo right now is maybe the most.
Oh boy,
I
that's a
think
Oh
good
he's the
one.
boy.
most, like, I think
That's a
he's the
great
most
one right there.
I think he's the most mind-blowing wrestler in the world. Like he's the epitome of like a one of one. Like there's nobody else like him. There's a lot of great lucha libre, luchadors out there, but I think he's just unreal. I think he's on another level.
And speaking with Vikingo though, because me and Tom, when we first saw him make his debut on AEW as the AAA Mega Champion, even though I did watch him a little bit during AAA, like a lot of times, like you said, I mean, he's like one of one in terms of lucha rate. Like, look, no disrespect to Commander, who also does crazy shit.
He's incredible. Yeah, he's incredible too. He's awesome.
But Vikingo I think just outbeats everybody by like a mile and a half in terms of what he can do. Like, first of all,
let me tell you something right now. No other person I've seen who wrestled that lucha style could do a corkscrew into a Hurricane Rana like I saw on Collision the other
night. It's incredible, man. He's
like an inverted 630 from the middle rope through a fucking table. Like,
yeah, he's so incredible. He's incredible.
Like, you got a little bit of that margin for error to not like.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too. Like that's going back to what I asked you earlier. Like the hard work, like the fact you got Brian Kedron on the show. You're wrestling Paul London. Like I said, it's the hard work that really is starting to take shape. Now, like don't get me wrong though, it may not have been easy. But like I said, over the last 6 years, it's like you had to put that work in. It's really awesome to see someone like you. Probably what are you 20? What are you 26, 27?
25 actually.
Yeah, he's the same age as me. We graduated at the same time, dude.
Yeah. And it's really impressive to see someone, really doing New Jersey really proud because let's be honest.
Thank you. I
mean, outside of Joey, I don't think Joey. I don't think Joey is a Jersey native, but I could be.
Oh, Joey is. Yeah, Joey.
Joey is
from Asbury Park. He's from Asbury Park, New Jersey. Yeah.
So you got Joey Janela. Yeah, you got Joey Janela, who's a Jersey guy. You have Liv Morgan, who's a Jersey girl. You have Sarah DeVille, who's a Jersey girl. So you got a lot of Jersey people in wrestling.
Yeah, New Jersey has done.
And you're in that list now, and that's awesome.
Thank you.
It really is because, because people were saying, in terms of the many pro wrestlers that we've seen over the years, like they're all like coming out of Philadelphia and New York. So it's like I'm thinking to myself, like, man, New Jersey never gets that.
When does Jersey get to shine, bro?
Jersey does needs its time to shine, and seeing like Joey, who has done really exceptionally well for himself, even during his time with AEW with him and John Moxley in that unsanctioned match. I don't know if you ever watched that unsanctioned match.
What you mean the one where his bare feet hit the tax
with the thumbtacks?
Yeah, I mean, I think right now, and I was having this conversation with my buddies a couple days ago. Like, I think for like the top 5, like top guys on the indies, I think Janela might be number 1. I think Joey's definitely top 5 right now on like the top 5 best indie guys going right now, man. He's had such an incredible run.
With that.
He wrestled Kota Ibushi at Spring Break. What a match! Like,
I know, that was crazy.
Yeah, I think right now Janela's on the run of his life, man, and I'm super happy for him. I think his run is helping the indies so much too. Like, I just think that helps everybody. I think it's awesome. I'm super happy for him.
It really is. I mean, trust me. Like I said, your hard work doesn't really go underappreciated because, you maybe start out these smaller and the fact you went to GCW. Now, like I said, I will say this to Tyler. I would not be shocked if he somehow will make a slight appearance on either AEW, go to Impact, New Japan.
You will see me on the AEW watch along, completely shit a brick, seeing you on damn like AEW Dynamite or something.
Thank you, guys.
I've seen some pro wrestlers. They just there's some that I've seen over the years. They just are so complacent. Like said, I'm wearing that. But people like you, Sean, you're that rare breed who is willing to put in the work and listen, and shows that I'm here.
Thank you.
The fact you had to was it a six man tag at GCW Backyard 5?
Yeah, 6-man scramble. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Like I say, your hard work does not go underappreciated, especially in the state of New Jersey, who
in terms of C-Man, me and Rob do our homework, bro. We watch your shit.
Appreciate it. I appreciate that very
it's
much.
As long as more as time I get to learn about you, like the more kind of type of dream matches I can see you going against, Vikingos, that'll be
I would love
balls
that.
to
I
the
would love
wall.
that. Awesome.
Speedball Mike Bailey. That was interesting that you mentioned Speedball Mike Bailey. Even though Let's Pro Impact hasn't really been greatest, but even though
Impact started to drop the ball with him. He was doing good. He was their X Division champion at one point. Now he's like there.
he's been
I
killing
don't know what's up with
I think
Impact.
Speedball is one of the pound for pound best wrestlers in the world right now. You know, I think he's incredible. I'd love to be in the ring with him. I think he's awesome.
Shit, I will not be surprised if you and Joey actually did a main event, and that would. But
I'd love to.
If it was here,
that.
either there or Philly, well, whatever the next event is, you.
Yeah, I would love that. I would love to. All those guys. It'd mean the world to get in the ring with those guys. That'd be awesome.
Because it's like, like I said, some professional wrestlers nowadays, like I said, are just sometimes you can see, and sometimes in their work they're just lazy. They're not just. They don't want to really put in the work. Like I said, and going back to what I said earlier, like you always had that rare breed. Like yourself, Joey Janela. I mean, I don't think Joey Janela will ever settle to be. It's like, look, I'll be the number one. I want to, and he shows it. Look
what happened. Look what happened with him when he floundered in AEW. He goes, no, I'm done. I want to be on that upper card. I want to be on Dynamite. I want to be on these shows, and you're not booking me, so I'm leaving. And that's what he did.
Yeah, it's incredible. His run on the Indies has been fantastic, especially 2023. He's had a fantastic 2023.
Absolutely, and I couldn't be more impressed. The fact that the fact you have Paul London. Jeez, I mean, a lot. Like I said, in terms of the fact you have that tag team together, let's be. I think Paul London did. For those who don't remember who Paul London did, get the short end of the stick. I'm going to leave it at that. I think most of us remember how.
When that infamous smile thing that got him fired.
Yeah, that got him fired.
Seemed like smiling like a dang kid in picture day.
Yeah,
and Sean, another question too. Like, since you have that tag team, like, is there any other wrestlers you're going to put the hard work in? Like I said, if you want to. Have an opportunity to go face to face. Like I say, you got Paul Lindner coming up right now. Like Joey Janela will be awesome to see you go and like who's the better Jersey native and stuff like that. But it's really amazing the fact that your hard work, like I said, does not go unappreciated. Even though, like I said, haven't really watched much of the IW. Is it IWTV? I think it was.
Yeah, absolutely, IWTV.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I don't really pay
where this event is going to be, so I hope you guys watch on the 25th.
Yes, absolutely. This show will be streaming live on IWTV August 25th, so I'm very excited.
It is very amazing to see, like, you, because it's like, from what Tyler told me, it's like, yes, minus all the baby steps, but the fact you took one step to GCW, now you got Paul London. It's like you're going up a ladder of success. Is the way I look at it.
It's like a gradual climb.
Thank you. Yeah,
it's not like a slow Money in the Bank ladder match climb where you're just like going 2 miles a minute. You're climbing that shit fast.
Oh yeah.
So,
but for those anybody that's in the chat, if you want to ask Sean any questions, like we're all open up to a Q&A. With
I do have a question. It's a really good question. What advice do you give aspiring pro wrestlers?
Always bet on yourself. Always bet on yourself. Keep working, even if it's not in front of people. Just keep going. Go for the runs. Go to the gym. Always, invest in new gear. Just always believe in yourself, because at the end of the day, you are always going to be an investment in wrestling. And if you invest in yourself, other people will be willing to invest in you. So just always bet on yourself. Always bet on yourself.
That's really amazing but Positive Philly, who's been around a while, buddy, he wants to see you and Marcus Mathers go one-on-one.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually had one of Marcus Mathers' first match when he was just starting in wrestling on like student shows for H2O. So I've actually never really got to have a real one-on-one with him. So I'd love that too. That'd be awesome.
Because I think what he just won the H2O was it the H2O World Champion? Like I said, I haven't really been out of the loop in terms of the smaller promotions.
Yeah.
But Alex, I know he has. So let's see what refs.
Yeah, he has a pretty interesting question for you. That's a pretty interesting question. He asked, "What is one of your finishing moves in your career as an indie?"
My favorite is the Code Red. Amazing Red was the one who invented it, but it's a big fan of it. It's a Sunset Bomb. I sorry, can't speak. Sunset Bomb. It's one of my favorite ones they had. I love that one.
But that's the thing.
That was a great question, Raph. I'll give you that one
Very
for
good
sure,
question.
brother. This isn't wrestling related, but what's your thoughts on
the film Oppenheimer?
Of the film Oppenheimer? That was one of the questions.
You know what's funny? I actually meant to watch Oppenheimer a week ago and didn't get around to it. So I actually want to go see it next weekend.
But yeah, it's just like, and I don't know if like the thing with Amazing Red, it's like when I first got a chance to see him in Impact or TNA at the time. But it's kind of crazy that his cousin, for I think a lot of people tend to forget, who was also there, Selena Vega, who was still there. I think a lot of people tend to forget that she was there.
Yeah, she was in that. Yeah, she was. Yeah, Selena Vega was in TNA at one point. Impact Wrestling now. Another person who's in Impact Wrestling, Rebel, who was aligned with Britt Baker for a little bit. I don't know where she's been. She's been off TV for a while, so I don't know where she's been. Anyway, but yeah,
here's an interesting question that actually just popped in my head. But before you got started and get into this business, who was the one wrestler did you really idolize the most? Out of obviously the thousands that you probably would have seen over the years.
When I was just getting into it, the top ones that I can have come to mind are Speedball was a big one. Paul London, obviously. Danny Havoc was a huge one.
Ooh.
Go on, yeah.
Those are the top three that I'm really thinking of in my head. Trying to think. I know these two might be random, but Kurt Angle was a big one. Adam Cole was a big one that really loved. That I thought just because if you watch Adam Cole, there's just so many little things he does that go such a long way, like his facials, how he makes I don't know. I just feel like those are probably the big top 5 ones that really I looked up to. That I was I really want to.
That was a really nice one. I mean, you got an Olympic gold medalist, which is actually it's crazy because with Adam Cole, I mean, not just from his time from WWE, but I just remember he always had a really good run in 2016 in Ring of Honor. Now, like I said, that's another
his best run too, bro. Running Ring of Honor.
That's another place I would not be surprised you would somehow get your opportunity.
I would love to. I would love to. I was such a big Honor fan as a kid. I'd love to.
It's crazy because even as a general wrestling fan, even with the current Ring of Honor belts, even though at the time, yes, I did think they were super plain as hell with the red lettering, the several plates and thing. It's not what they were in 2016, but I mean, I get it. You're going back to your roots.
Yeah.
But so far, I mean, have you ever watched this current edition adaptation of Ring of Honor? And if so, I mean, who has caught your eye?
I love the current Ring of Honor. I think it's awesome. Slim J, who's one of my absolute favorites. He's part of the damn, I forgot who's running it. He's in the group with Sonny Kiss and VSK. I think he's awesome. I love Claudio. Obviously, Claudio's a legend. Their Death Before Dishonor pay-per-view was really, really good. I thought the show was fantastic. There's so many good I love that AEW has them because there's so much good influx of talent of AEW guys and Ring of Honor guys. There's a lot of guys stylistically that I'd love to get in there with. I don't know. I think Mike Bennett's still there. I know.
Yeah.
He just had a match there. Yeah.
He's with the Kingdom. He's with the Kingdom.
Yeah. Kingdom, I would love to work. I think a lot of the Ring of Honor guys there are really, really good.
I definitely agree. And obviously, for those who have not seen this past Dynamite, it was kind of getting interesting with the Kingdom, obviously, and now in Roderick Strong. Now, to you, Sean, where do you obviously, you're still in the business, but if you were seeing that, how would you put that together? Do you have a quick little heel turn from Roderick Strong, let him align himself with the Kingdom, or how would you really write that story, that be a potential storyline with, especially how everything is going on with MGF and Adam Cole as we speak?
I think there's a lot of money to be made for Ring of Honor in a Claudio versus Roderick Strong Ring of Honor title match, especially because they were both original Ring of Honor guys. I think there's a lot they can do with a Claudio versus Roderick Strong match.
That's really amazing because even though I really get started to I will flat out admit I didn't really watch the the older because I don't, the only times I remember who were the OGs in terms of the Ring of Honor. Claudio, I did not know he actually started out in Ring of Honor, so I would flat out admit that's like really.
Yeah,
that still questions me. Like Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian. I remember Christopher Daniels was there. It's crazy that it's crazy to see guys like Christopher Daniels. And I mean, as a you're 6 years in. Like, are you still impressed? You see guys like Christopher Daniels, still perform at a very high level. What is he like?
absolutely,
late 40s, and still.
Especially Christopher Daniels has been wrestling for 30 years. That's amazing. That's incredible. And he's still, one of the absolute best. When he's in the ring, man, he's untouchable. Like Christopher Daniels, it's amazing. Very inspiring. Very inspiring.
It really is. I mean, the Fallen Angel. And now another question too. I mean, as you were growing up as a wrestling fan, did you ever have any like female superstar celebrity crushes? Because I will flat out admit I have. I mean, currently or in the past. The one in particular currently is Rhea Ripley because for obvious goddamn reasons. But I'm going to leave.
Who the hell doesn't have a crush on Rhea Ripley, Rob?
But yeah, that's kind of my other. I know that's kind of a random question, but I just thought I'd just randomly ask.
Oh, so I didn't really have any crushes, but I will say, like, when I was growing up, I had a lot of like DVDs and VHSs, so I was able to watch wrestling from all sorts of time periods, different companies, and I still believe that Alundra Blaze is one of the most underrated wrestlers ever.
Oh, I can't disagree with you on that one.
I can't either.
Her original WWF Women's Title reign is so underrated. Like her first Bull Nakano SummerSlam '94 is one of my favorite SummerSlam matches ever. Like ever. Especially because SummerSlam's tomorrow. I know that people were like,
and people are reliving the older SummerSlams for
So
right now I've seen people say the best SummerSlam that most of the older fans watched was SummerSlam 1992 or was it 93? That was in Wembley.
92 with Brett versus Bulldog and Savage versus Warrior is a great one.
And like you said, go with the Alundra Blaze too. And I think a lot of times people tend to forget she was also, in a way, a bit of a pioneer for women's wrestling, but also
absolutely
was really known. Well, let's be real here. That most infamous moment for those who remember WCW 1995, she just dropped. When we watched this, like, no goddamn way she actually had the ball.
Nearly like some odd years later, she took out the dang title out of the briefcase, looked at Vince and goes, "Here you go."
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think, and she's in the Hall of Fame, which is where she definitely belongs because she really was such a trailblazer in every sense of the word. Like, I think she's one of the greatest to ever do it. A big Alundra Blaze fan, 100%.
Absolutely. And that's the thing too. Like a lot of people really don't give Alundra Blaze a lot of credit that she really truly deserves, especially with the women's wrestling. People say, "Oh, China's a trailblazer," but when you really look at it, it was originally Alundra Blaze. Really stood up for for women's wrestling. Because let's be real, women back then, well, let's just say it was not a good era for women's wrestling.
And trust me, man. She was a mid-90s, so it was already bad. It got worse by '98.
And there are a lot of people who deserve credit too. China definitely deserves credit. Luna Vachon deserves a ton of credit.
I will say Luna Vachon was always going to be that super underrated one besides Alundra Blaze that really never gets the love that she truly deserves. Even let's be real, that badass war paint that she sports every time she goes to the ring.
One of the greatest ever. I think she deserves so much credit for how different and how unique and how revolutionary she was too.
Like it's crazy when we looked at the last 25 years of women's wrestling from a fact that no one really cares about in the mid to obviously up to late 90s because usually they were as quote unquote objects. I really hate using that term, but that's kind of what they were. And yeah, for someone who's lived through the Attitude Era, it wasn't the greatest. Shit, I remember SummerSlam I think it was 99 where China actually threw the little kitchen sink at Jeff Jarrett. Why is this? It's just the fact you had Double J as portrayed as a woman beater. It's like,
Yeah.
Or I'll do you one better, Rob. The cat segment from freaking WrestleMania 2000, bro.
Yeah,
Oh my god, bro.
There's a lot of great women wrestling out there. There's a lot of
it really is.
fantastic, women wrestlers, and there's Athena and Willow Nightingale. They main evented Ring of Honor, a
Dude,
couple weeks
Athena,
ago.
I was saying this to
Great
That
you,
match
match.
was freaking amazing. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
I've been very impressed with Athena's. I think this is her second run with Ring of Honor because yeah, that's right. It is her second run, and the fact that we see let's be real. I think she's at her full potential where she's at now. Like if you look during the time WWE, yeah, it's like she could be so much better. But when she got free from what the WWE is all about, it's like boy, and her Willow, and like I said, Willow, I could not really be pleased enough because she's been very impressive. With the fact as what the New Japan. Hang on, the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Women's Champion. Like what I liked about Willa is like her happy-go-lucky type of. It's not like her character. It's not really like she has a gimmick, but like she's kind of acting like herself. I mean,
Yeah, but it's overall, like cranked up to like $1 billion, though. That's the thing.
Yeah,
it's cranked up.
Absolutely. But overall, Sean, your thoughts on Athena so far on her run as the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion?
I've loved it. I think it's been really, really good. I think Willow's one of the best in the world too. I think she's fantastic. It's very awesome to see like just how great a lot of the women's wrestling has been, especially these last couple of years. It's awesome, and I think Athena's been a great representative of that, of how great the women wrestling has been these last couple of years.
Absolutely, it's like. But I mean, like the last few years, like who was the most impressive in terms of the women's wrestlers that you've seen? Like let's say the last few years, like who really stood out to you in that time frame? Because overall, for me, it was definitely Rhea. When she joins the Judgment Day, because that was a huge career saver.
Yeah,
boy,
yeah. Her career was going.
I think for me personally, number one. For just someone who always like I felt like made everyone feel something during their matches. Like I think overall just total package is a babyface. I think Kairi Sane had one of the most incredible.
Okay.
Like I feel like her when she wins the Mae Young Classic and then she becomes like a permanent NXT roster member, and then right as she's about to join the main roster, I feel like that NXT run she had was incredible. Like just consistency with her matches, like making people feel something. I feel like her and Shayna Baszler from NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, like summer 2018, is one of the best NXT matches ever. Like I love that match so much. I think Kairi Sane for me might be the number one, like in my I think for like my number one pick for like women wrestlers of like the last 5 years or so. I think she's unreal.
Now with GCW or with the indie scene, personally though, what woman stands out to you in whether it's H2O or GCW?
I feel like within the last year, I feel like Casey Kirk has had an incredible run. Her ICW American Deathmatch Champion run was awesome. I feel like it's a toss-up between her, Colby Carino, and Cole Radrick on who was the Wrestler of the Year for the Independents for 2022. I think Masha Slamovich has had an
Masha Slamovich.
Oh my god!
Larry, no pun intended. She will literally go for a door, and I've seen her matches. God bless her for taking the beating that she does.
She gets to the point where she gets borderline psychotic.
Yeah, I think Masha Slamovich is amazing. I think she's one of the best in the world. Someone else who I think is one of the best in the world and will be on Dylan McKay's Underground in 3 I'm so sorry, I can't speak. In 3 weeks will be Rina Yamashita. She'll be wrestling Colby Carino, which I'm very excited for. I think Rina's fantastic. I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot of really good women wrestlers out there.
And speaking of Colby Carino, because obviously a lot of older wrestling fans know his dad, Steve Carino, but when you got a chance to, have you ever worked with Colby at all during your?
Yes.
But what's he like though?
I wrestled Colby in May of 2021, and I can easily say that I believe that as of right now, Colby Carino is the most talented wrestler I've ever been in a ring with. I think he's an elite level pro wrestler. Like, there's just some people that when you're in a ring with them and you can feel them out, you realize, okay, this is an elite level professional wrestler. And I truly believe that Colby Carino is one of the best wrestlers in the world. I think he's fantastic.
Colby that I've seen, I've seen some of his matches and stuff like that, but I also see him in the news. Like, he has had a couple big name companies like AEW was kind of looking at him. The WWE also actually had a deal in place. Unfortunately, that really never came to fruition because obviously I think his dad has ties with the company. Like I said, that kind of goes back to my point. Like a guy like Colby Carino who who's looks like completely a hard worker. Like I said, I don't really know Colby personally, but when I look at him, from the outside, like the dude like puts in the work, like really gives it his all. Like I said, and that so applies to you, Sean. Like, if you're gonna have companies like AEW and WWE come looking at you, you're doing something right.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Surprised
I feel like you're getting that much closer to that happening.
You're about to break the glass ceiling. Is basically what I'm saying.
Thank you. I definitely appreciate that. And yeah, Colby's one of the hardest workers I've ever met. Like, he's just incredible. Like, just in the ring, out of it, Colby Carino he's awesome. He's the man.
That's really amazing because,
the fact that you wrestled Steve Carino's freaking son, man. Come on.
That's fantastic. He's one of the best, man. He's awesome.
Like, and that's crazy too. That you seen people, and you see some of the best women, especially in where you're at currently. Maja Slamovich, jeez, make sure you. Her and Killer Kelly, yeah, that was something. I will say
that was something. To me, it's like what it looks like that where they're booking it. This tag team is like a psychotic lesbian couple in Impact. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I see happening there.
Like
from the beginning, the way they were booking it in the beginning, I'm like, this is some like, they're together, and they're going to fight and trample off all the other teams. And that's how I see it.
That's a possibility. But another thing is too, like during your time as a professional, like what kind of matches have you seen if you're not on the show? As a pro wrestler, like if you're not on the show, like what do you do in your spare time? If you say you're not on the show, like say, well, I don't know what the scheduling's like in the indies. Kind of give it from your personal experience.
Yeah, like
well, fortunately,
a lot of people don't know.
I have a good amount of experience of not just being an in-ring wrestler, but also like agenting, and like I've helped a lot with other companies like H2O within as I said, agenting, stuff like that. You learn a lot about wrestling, especially outside the ring. You learn a lot. So I've booked, I've promoted, I've managed, I've done a lot of really cool things in wrestling. So fortunately, I'm pretty good at all sorts of trades in wrestling.
Nice.
It really is. And then during that time, like what kind of matches have you seen during your 6 years as a pro wrestler? Like, have anything has been crazy, like been out of this world, or just people are really to kill themselves for our entertainment?
I mean, I feel like to a degree in pro wrestling, everybody's willing to kill themselves for entertainment because you have to be willing to do
Darby Allin.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. He's a perfect example on TV of somebody who gives everything he has to this, especially physically, to do the things that they do. I mean, in 7 years in indie wrestling, you see a lot of crazy things. People do a lot of crazy things, jump off walls, take off the ropes and replace them with barbed wire. You see all sorts of crazy things like that, But but every wrestler to a degree is willing to do that. It's
not
just
gonna be like crazy like John Moxley pull out a bed of nails on a blood and guts match.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's funny.
Yeah, no, thank you.
And it's funny because that wasn't the first time I'd ever seen a bed of nails in wrestling. I'd seen it multiple times on the indies. It's people.
My God.
People are willing to do all sorts of crazy things to their body to entertain wrestling fans. It just depends on what degrees they're looking to do it at.
Right.
It's like because what I've learned about all the deathmatch wrestling, I learned it through CCW, like the later half. It's like seeing people like, yeesh. I mean, I've seen some guys. I mean, there's some that who unfortunately passed away because obviously, toward their injury, which stinks. It's just crazy. It's like you said, well, these guys put the bodies through, but it's like, and just seeing, like there's loved ones actually picking out the parts. It's like if it's out of glass, tacks.
Yeah.
It's like, oh god, like it just makes me doesn't make me squeamish, but it's very unsettling to see.
Yeah.
Like you said, of how far these people can put their bodies on the line for our entertainment.
Yeah, not for everyone.
Yeah, and it's like, another crazy question. I don't know if have you kept up with AEW as a recent? I mean, have you watched a lot of AEW, WWE, even NXT?
Yeah, I try to keep up to date with everything in wrestling. So yeah, I definitely have.
So my question is, when you ever watch that one episode of Dynamite, what you think of Nick Gage coincidentally pulled out a pizza cutter and then the weirdest, because me and Tark talked about this all the day, it's like you cannot map that better with a dollar.
I thought this was the best product placement ever.
I think you guys took the words out of my mouth. I don't think there was a more perfect product placement in the history of television than Domino's Pizza.
While Nick Gage with a pizza cutter,
and you know what? That was so awesome. That was so great to see Nick, do that with Chris Jericho, because people had for so many years looked down on deathmatch wrestling, and to see Nick Gage bring deathmatch wrestling to, Turner Network is just incredible. It's awesome. It was so.
It really
awesome.
is. It's like the fact that because we know nowadays it's like people. Because like you said, it looks like it's pretty much like it's like that. How do I word it? It's pretty much just like that, redheaded stepchild in professional wrestling that really no one really wants to see. But the fact, I've seen, deathmatch wrestling from the last time I checked, it's gained a huge following since the last few years. From a guy like a Joey Janela, who's not really, obviously has some deathmatch wrestling. Same with John Moxley when he first broke in. You had Nick Gage. I mean, the list can go on and on.
You even had Matt Cardona, the former Zack Ryder, who was already famous for WWE deathmatch wrestling.
Yeah, the Deathmatch King.
Yeah, the Deathmatch King.
Which is crazy because me and Tard, for the longest time, because me and Tard always talk about it's crazy how much from a guy like Matt Cardona went from a Zack Ryder character, which, I wish I would have seen more, even though, he got treated like absolute dog water. Getting pushed from off the stage in a wheelchair by Kane on an episode of Raw. I think you remember. It's like, boy, it's like you could not have felt bad for Matt Cardona at that time. It's like,
bro took John Cena's girl in that WrestleMania, and that same girl kicked him in the nads.
Yeah, E. Torres. I think for a lot of people remember. I think that was. I think that have been Survivor Series, if I remember correctly.
Oh wait, that was Survivor Series. It was Team Raw and Team SmackDown. She turned on him.
And ever since he left, but he's really found a really nice lease on life. Him and Kurt Hawkins or Brian Myers have really. I could not be more impressed of the new lease on life they found in this profession. It's Kurt Hawkins. I think a lot of people know him as a career jobber. And, same thing you said with Zack Ryder. But have you ever thought, have you ever thought you potentially could have a dream match with Matt Cardona or Brian?
I would really love to. Hawkins and Ryder, I was one of the only people in my area that was actually a fan of them when they were with Edge.
So you were an Edge head, huh?
Both Hawkins and Ryder, or Myers and Cardona, since they started out. I would love to. I would really, really love to, especially because right now I think Matt Cardona is one of the top guys in the game right now in wrestling. I'd love to do that.
Would you put him number one over Darby or over Joey Janela, or do you still think he's not that far behind? Cool, that gets me thinking.
I think Cardona and Janela are neck and neck, but for different reasons.
Okay, that's respectable. Then again, though, because you're going you have Matt Cardona more the deathmatch side of things, and I guess you could say Joey Janela for the hardcore scene. I guess it is because let's put who has it's. Wait, I don't know if he does. Is he still more? Wait, how would you label him? like in the matches you have seen. I don't know if you ever watch his matches. Like, do you think he's good? Like, just sort of just like a death match, or is he still like been placed into the hardcore scene? You know,
I think it's more of a hybrid style where you can go at any style. You can wrestle somebody in a death match, and then you can wrestle Vikingo in a lucha style match, or someone in a comedy match. It's a hybrid style. You're able to adapt to every style of every opponent. It's a hybrid style. It's awesome.
it really is
Yeah,
amazing.
I feel it is the same way because look at AEW, Rob. He wasn't always in death matches. He was doing 101 standard 101s. He was doing tag matches. He was doing all this. He was in a tag team with Sonny Kiss, for crying out loud. The least hardcore person.
Yeah, and that's one of the best things you can do in wrestling is if you can adapt to any style at any time, whether it's comedy or hardcore or lucha or strong style. You can adapt to anyone around you.
Now, I know this is kind of a different question because we had our former best friend actually would ask this a lot. Would you ever take money to take a chop from the current IC champion Gunther? Because I know me and Tara wouldn't.
Oh man. I guess in theory, well, that's the trick question because in theory, I would like to be in a match with Gunther, so I would be paid for the match. So technically, the answer is yes, right? I think it's yes.
Like, let's just say
I mean, you gotta pay for the medical bills. I mean, come on.
I'll answer. Would I look forward to being chopped by him? Absolutely not. No way. Would I ever
Exactly. Thank you. That was. I was like, no way, no.
Yeah.
Now, the follow up question for that: would you take Bronson Reed Tsunami?
Whew.
Oh
gosh, would I want to know? Would I want to know? But the cards might fall where they may. So that's just one of those things you'd have to hope for the best but expect the worst, I guess.
Yeah, it's really quite crazy. Like, you know, it's not crazy, but it's also been very impressive, like how far you have come. Because, like I said, because when I first met Tyler, because he and I, we've been very close in for almost 15 years, and this is the first time when we heard about you. So it's like, who? Like, yeah. It was an eyebrow raiser, so I had to do a little bit more, my homework on you. And like say, you know, what's H2O and, you know, some of these local stuff, because like I said, I don't really pay attention to like the smaller ones, but which, even though I should, you know, I should do from time to time because, you know, because you never know, because I've seen like in these, you know, it's like places like H2 at the Monster Factory, like you gotta, you know, like let's bro, the best I would say in terms of the hard workers like yourself, you know. Shit, I would not be surprised if you and Darby Allin went 1-on-1.
Oh,
that's going to be money to see.
I would love that.
Imagine that. Imagine that on a Dynamite card. Oh my gosh.
Definitely something I would absolutely love. I'd love that.
Like, so in terms, like you said, you want to do, like, say if you ever want to do internationally, like what, like Mexico, besides Mexico, like where was the other places in the world would you like to, you know, take your professional round talents elsewhere? Like, say if you do like to travel to Mexico, like, would you do in Japan?
Japan's number one. Japan's definitely number one. That's definitely like the number one country I'd love to wrestle in.
But that's really amazing to hear. And you know, other dream matches, like you said, you know, I mean, you got Paul London, Darby Allin could be a possibility, Matt Cardona, Joey Janela. Yeah. I mean, you probably have like a list putting down. You know, like if you ever decide to, when your perfect opportunity comes to go to the big time. Which I do think it's definitely going to happen.
Thank you.
I can't say can't say that otherwise.
I can't see any different either, man. You know, I've seen this guy's trajectory from the beginning, bro. Like he was like, I'm gonna be a pro wrestler, and I go, okay, go for it, and then he just rises to this level. I'm like, that's awesome.
Thank you.
If you're talking about the ultimate dream match, in my mind, I would say Sean and LA Knight going at it 1-on-1. How about that?
Yeah, I was about to say you took the words out of my mouth. There we go.
Because it's like you really like you said, I think you said it best. Like you have some of these guys that actually know how to work a crowd. And a guy like LA Knight, we've seen during this time with Impact, is Eli Drake know how to work a crowd. And let's be real, Impact never really had that big of a crowd. But the thing, like, what really stood out to you in terms of, especially where LA Knight has been, you know, when you ever got a chance to like watch him on TV, like, is it like from his in-ring work, is it promo style, character work, like where do you Like, where do you think he really, really excels at?
I think I think he shines in every way. Like I think his charisma, I think his look, I think the way he conducts, like I just think everything he does is fantastic. And that's why he's so beloved right now. I think just because of how talented he really is.
And everybody can't stop saying yeah.
Or the fact that he doesn't bring up the fact of light dummy button anymore, which is stinks.
He needs to sell that shit. I will buy it. I don't care. I will buy it.
And that's another thing too, which also would I've been very impressed with LA Knight. I mean, which I can definitely see Sean being a very good merch seller, because we've seen that LA Knight has dethroned Roman Reigns as the #1 merch seller in WWE today.
That's amazing to do that.
And like I said, I do think Sean, I can see you going big time. Like I said, GCW was in a way, the way I look at it, was you're getting your foot in the door.
Yeah.
In terms of your hard work paying off. Then again, I won't be surprised. Say Impact gives you a call, New Japan, AAA, AW.
Imagine Sean in a New Japan match in a strong style type of environment. Oh boy. I will stay up until 5 a.m. to watch shit live, bro.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Here's another dream match that actually just somehow popped in my head. I would like to see Will Ospreay and Sean going at it.
Oh man, that'd be insane, man. Especially because Will Ospreay, like he was, he actually used to be like such a big name on the backyard wrestling scene before he ever got into wrestling. So that would be
that's crazy to really hear that he actually had made a name for himself in the backyard wrestling scene. Because when I think of when I think of backyard wrestling, it's like as us kids being stupid at the back, just doing a lot of stupid shit,
diving off the top of the house, breaking our legs.
But it's really amazing to hear from what you've seen so far, your 6 years. I mean, you've seen guys like Colby Carino still killing it.
Yeah.
Slamovich. I mean, is there anybody, especially? I mean, I don't know if you ever watched the NWA, but is there anybody, especially both men or women on NWA, has really caught our attention? Because for me and Tyler's point is, oh my god, I can't think of a freaking name right now. It's really drawing a blank.
What, the female name? The female's name?
She's the NWA Women's World Champion.
Oh, that's Camille Brickhouse.
Camille. Why do I see Camille's like the one name I will never I still got to keep remembering, but that's kind of
biased. My #1 favorite NWA wrestler is Colby Carino, so he's definitely.
What? I respect that.
I respect that too. He was a great wrestler to have in the NWA. I really like this stuff in the NWA too. When he was on Power,
I'm hoping he wins the junior heavyweight title from Kerry Morton very soon.
Ooh, okay. I see
that,
because it's like that's the thing too. This is what the beauty of this business that I've liked is because you get this yes, we've seen the older generation of the generation talent pool starting to kind of fade away. Now we're seeing the new generation like Sean, Colby Carino. I mean, the list could go on and on and on. It's going to really overtake this business and make it shine in the way. Like the fact Colby Carino, Joey Janela, and hell, even give Joey Janela a lot of credit who try to shine a light, that the the indie scene is not a bad place to go if you want to, try to get better, hone your craft, and stuff like that, and then keep working hard to get to the big time. Because I've seen some aspiring pro wrestlers just try to shoot up. Which look, you gotta dream big. Sometimes you also gotta dream big, then also gotta dream small at the same time. Which I think you kind of learned over your career as well.
Yeah, and thank you. It's so true, and I can't thank you guys enough for having me on the show, man. It's
absolutely.
Really thank you.
No problem, bro.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. Again, you're the first pro wrestler that we have on our channel.
Yeah, which is wild, man. Thank you guys for having me. Thank you.
Hey,
you're welcome, man.
Hey, it was his idea.
It was my idea.
Because it's like
a lot of fun. So thank you.
It has been, and shout out to everyone that's been in the chat. Actually, we're asking some questions. Obviously, my boy, Positive Philly, he's going to try to come out to, obviously, he's an he also likes H2O as well. Is when I kind of have some conversations with them. So, yeah, he knows the H2O background. You know, it's gonna be amazing to see
a
how this
lot
event
of the
goes.
show. I mean, I looked back at that card. That card looks stacked.
Yeah,
Like,
thank you guys.
that's a
I'm so
stacked
excited. I'm
card.
beyond excited. 3 more weeks. I can't wait.
Yep, 3 more weeks. August 25th, 7:30 Eastern Time, live on the IWTV website. Check it out.
If you're looking to
And
attend live, it's Williamstown, New Jersey at the H2O Wrestling Center. All tickets are $25. So come on, let's do it.
I'll try to make my way down there because like I said, because obviously I do want to support Sean as best way I possibly can because obviously like you Sean said Tyler Lewis pretty much is like it's the other vicarious part from Tyler that I've known for the.
Thank you guys.
Yeah. I was like, at least someone that I know is living a dream that I've wanted since I was a kid that I can't have.
And I very much
it's awesome.
that, guys.
And it's awesome. I'm like, and I also gloated ever since you started training. I'm like, I know a pro wrestler. Let's go.
Yeah,
like,
that's awesome. Thank you.
It's been very amazing. So obviously, Sean, man, it's been an honor to really kind of get to, well, especially from my side of things, kind of get to know you from, obviously, I know Tyler talked a lot about you. So it's like, kind of get to really next and try to become like a secondary best friend because, like, once you start kind of get behind you, and let's be real, I can see, if I ever see you have been a tag team, shit, give me you and Colby Carrillo any goddamn day of the damn week.
I'd love that, man.
So that would be amazing to watch. Because
that'd be money. That would be money.
Yeah,
that's dollar signs right there. That's like a WrestleMania worthy tag team right there.
No, if you want to make it much more sweeter than that, if you have him and Steve, Sean and Colby, why not get Paul London and Brian Kendrick reteam for the
bring that team back? But then again, you're missing a piece, man. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, you're missing a piece with that team.
Oh, hey, hang on.
True. Very true.
Because remember, Ashley Massaro used to valet them.
Right. I forgot about that.
You're missing a piece there, man. Unfortunately.
That's the one thing I completely forgot as a longtime wrestling fan that she was actually a valet for them.
Yeah.
Yep. And and like I said, the one final thing that I think you really hit the nail on, like this business does take a toll. And I've seen people, I see some big time names actually get, well, let's be real, addicted to painkillers. I don't know if you've seen, it's just like, it sometimes, and that's what made me second, because that's kind of where for those who kind of don't want to get to know me a little bit, that was kind of one of my other aspirations because you'll say, what, it would be, I want to do like something different as a career path, but knowing the fact that the toll that it takes, and obviously, yes, I mean, and all the shit that's like, I want to just not do it because it's addiction is not I've seen some smaller guys, not in terms of size, but a guy like Big Bill, for example, kicked alcoholism right in the ass.
Yep.
And it's like, and and that's another question I wanted to ask too, Sean. Does that ever really creep up in the back of your mind? So it's like, oh, you know what you're getting into when you get into this business, knowing that your body's going to take it. Yeah, I mean, we all know that your body's going to take a beating, but do you always have that fear you might, not go down that road?
No, I know what you mean. So I guess like fortunately, unfortunately, I've seen so much of that, like in my like personal life and like professional life, like seen people abuse painkillers and stuff like that, that like I was always like, more aware, like, hey, be wise with this stuff, be smart, don't go down that path. So like I fortunately have never worried about me falling down there, but I unfortunately have seen the the effects that it has had on other people. And it's definitely something that's not pretty at all.
Yeah, you're right. Because I mean, perfect. I mean, I can give some perfect examples. A guy like Rey Mysterio. I think people say, "Oh, Rey Mysterio never did it, never abused painkillers." Yeah, well, at one point he did. I think a lot of times
he came out in a documentary and said he did it. So he did it. And also, look at guys like Jeff Hardy. Look at guys like Eddie Guerrero. Look at those guys.
I mean, that's kind of crazy. It's been almost
20 years
without Eddie. No,
Yeah.
that's another thing too. Actually, I wanted to ask too. Did you ever literally look up to Eddie as like an
Oh
inspiration?
yeah. Oh my gosh, dude. Eddie Guerrero is one of Chris Hero said it best, and I think he said it perfectly. Like when people ask like who's the best wrestler ever, you got to look at all the accounts of what they were able to do. Eddie Guerrero is one of the most perfect wrestlers ever, if you really think about it. He was such a beloved babyface. He was such a terrifying heel. He always knew how to make people feel, and he was just one of the best ever in every conceivable way. He was so good. I loved Eddie Guerrero. Yeah, huge fan of his.
Yeah, I have to agree there. I have to agree wholeheartedly with that because he did know how to make people feel. Like I remember '05 when he was feuding with Ray about over his son. I absolutely despised Eddie.
Yeah, it was incredible. Awesome.
It was great.
Yeah,
Even
so
though,
good.
even though let's be real, that's one of the most. Let's be real. At the time, I mean, look, it was one of the best storylines ever to be written on a WWE pay per view, and it's kind of crazy when you look at it now, especially with Dom's work now. Eddie would be proud of the way how Dom is. And
Dom knows how to command a crowd too because all he has to do is put the mic up to his mouth and the whole crowd's going on.
Hey, shit! You think it was also crazy? He also got booed during a restaurant visit. That's so crazy. Like even outside the ring, he gets booed at a restaurant. It's like
I love it. I think it's so awesome.
Because for me, the way I look at Dom now, it's what Eddie was like, say in the mid 2000s. Like he's kind of like that reincarnation of Eddie. Even though it's kind of crazy that it's almost been 2 decades without Eddie himself, which is crazy when people look back at it in November of '05. So
yeah, crazy.
It's crazy like how impactful that Eddie Guerrero has been on this business for years. I mean, I've seen women, even women too. I've seen like Sasha Banks. I think was it the SummerSlam or Mania where she actually had her gear.
It was Mania. It was Mania because she came out in that Latino Heat gear.
Yeah, it was awesome
for Mania.
It's just, and that's where I've always will respect Eddie for, which it's crazy now when you look at it. Like his death has really changed the landscape of what the business is now. Obviously with the wellness policy, which means Hart did talk about, which was the introduction of the wellness policy. It's just
very true.
but yeah, that's all I got in terms of questions, pretty much.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. I really cannot thank you guys enough. So thank you guys.
You're welcome, brother.
It's a pleasure, man.
Yeah, I hope to see you guys in 3 weeks. I can't wait.
Well,
I actually won't be there because I had moved to Rhode Island.
Yeah.
So I will definitely check it out on the IWTV website. I will check it out there.
Thank you guys. I can't thank you guys enough for having me. It really meant a lot.
Hey, it's a pleasure, man.
I'm excited, man. Can't wait. 3 more weeks to go. So thank you guys.
Absolutely.
I'm excited for you. You're going against freaking Paul London. I can't not be excited about that.
Yeah, it's mind blowing, honestly. But I can't wait, man. Thank you guys.
I mean, look. Good luck on your match. And definitely, you probably in your mind just like, oh, and Paul London, if you looked at this, he looks like he looks even fantastic.
Bro, he looks like he did. He looked like he did 15 years ago.
Yeah,
like he looked awesome.
I can't believe that in 3 weeks the day will finally come that I get to.
Actually, that's another thing too. I forgot to ask you. Like, how did that all came about? Like, how'd you manage to get a match with Paul London?
My buddy actually, because I had actually tried booking Paul before. My buddy had his agent's contact, and I emailed the agent, and then we put everything together. I think it came close to maybe like a couple weeks, and then we finally got the deal done, and I was super, super happy and excited about it.
Hey, look, that's what when you shoot your shot at something, and the fact you got lucky to get someone like a Paul London as your opponent, like, because for me, I know I'd be a nervous wreck if I were in your spot because he's one of the guys that I've looked up or I've enjoyed watching as a kid. I was like,
yeah, same.
It's like because that's where the downside is. Like, I don't want to try to fanboy too much because obviously but yeah, that's.
And let me give you an analogy, and this is just this, and this is the roast, Rob too. This is like you shooting your shot, Rob, to Rhea, and Rhea says yes.
Yeah, are we? Boy, you're never gonna let that one go, are you, Tyler?
No, I never let that go, dude.
Yeah, he ain't wrong. He ain't wrong.
I can't wait, man. It's gonna be awesome.
I can't wait.
Only
So
3 weeks left. Only 3 weeks left. I'm so excited.
yeah, absolutely. If for those who are in the New Jersey area like myself, please, I highly recommend go support Sean any way you can. Go down to Williamstown.
Thank you.
I'll try my best to get there because let's be real.
Thank you.
I'm going to be excited.
And Rob, it's only $25 for a ticket. That's pretty. That's fairly cheap.
Like,
that's fairly cheap, bro.
I'm hoping to pack this place, man. I'm hoping to pack it. I can't wait.
I can't wait. You know,
yeah,
it's gonna be.
You're definitely going to sell out. I'm telling you that right now. It's going to be a sellout crowd.
Thank you guys.
Honestly,
I'll tell you that right now.
And that's another thing too. I do have high hopes for Sean. Is whenever he goes big time, he sells out a building. Because me and Todd would be the first people to be there when that day comes.
Dude, if there's an AEW show and he's booked on that show, I will beg and beg and beg to get tickets.
Guys, I love you guys. I can't thank you enough for all the kindness.
I mean, look, we got to support our local professional wrestler, especially with New Jersey proud. No matter if it's Sean,
especially when the person involved is one of my friends from high school. So
absolutely, that's the benefit of that. With that being said, guys, shout out to Sean for coming on for
having me, guys. Thank you.
And thanks to Tom for discussing this idea because it'll be nice to actually because I enjoy talking wrestling, but I wanted to give a different perspective and through Sean's eyes, like what he has seen the last 6 to 7 years.
Yeah.
And it's amazing the fact that worked at GCW event, has talked, had some interaction with Joey. It's like, like that really it may not seem big. But when you talk about the independency, as Sean put it, is the number one GCW is the number one indie promotion out there currently today.
Absolutely.
That's like, I mean, I've seen people jumping off like 20-foot platforms. Like I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be. Seeing people.
I saw the wall thing. Someone hanging off a balcony and jumping off it. I'm like, dude, no, I ain't doing that.
That's the fact you had a 6-man scramble. It's like that's a best opportunity to get your foot in your door to go even further, which I do believe Sean will have that more success.
Thank you.
Even the very first match I saw you in, I think it was at that Battle Royal or something. It was I think it was a Battle Royal, if I remember correctly. It was the Balls Out show.
Oh, the international food fight. Yeah.
Yeah, the food fight. Yeah, the food fight. And I see freaking Legos. I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and that's
no. A match on the card had a Lego match. I'm like, nope.
Yeah, that was the main event. Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, it's been a great 6 years. I'm these 6 years have been great. And I'm even more excited for what's ahead in 3 weeks. So I'm excited.
Oh, absolutely. But that being said, guys, shout out to Sean. Like I said, try your best to support your local professional wrestlers and obviously Sean as well. Dude's an amazing guy. As well.
Dude, I see his work. Dude, I saw his work. He can wrestle, man. This guy can wrestle. He can go, man.
And obviously you don't follow him on Facebook and stuff like that. His promos has actually been intriguing.
Dude, that's another thing. I sit there watching his promos, and I'm hung to every word. I'm just hooked.
And I think you also make a point too. Like if you don't want, because I think I know you probably learned the hard way. So if you don't have a good promo, a lot of times, it's going to be a bit of a bumpy road.
Yeah.
I know you probably had that experience like when you first broke in. It's like because for me, and I've known Tyler for over 15 years. He knows at times I can stutter when I speak at fucking 15 miles a minute. Basically.
Look what you're doing now. You stuttered like that one sentence.
Yeah, I do too when I get nervous, so I completely understand.
But yeah, it's been very impressive to see you in a very short amount of time that I've kind of got to know you. Actually, how much you've grown. I mean, the fact you worked at GCW events, like, damn. I'm kind of a little bit jealous, but I'm also happy at the same time because I'm not putting my body through that.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I've been very happy with this journey and even more excited for what's ahead in 3 weeks. So
exactly. Like try to keep an open mind. Like I said, there's endless opportunities weighing ahead. So if this one door closes, you got a few 1,000 more open on your journey to become a big time.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
But that being said, guys, like I say, go check out IWTV. You know, if you guys want to go, if for those who live in Jersey, make sure you make your trek down to Williamstown at the H2O Center. Get your tickets today.
And remember, the date is August 25th. This show, so please go down to the H2O Wrestling Center. Get your tickets, $25 a pop. Sell that place out for my boy here, and also watch it on IWTV. It's going to be a great show. It's going to be a great show. You got two former WWE alumni. One, my buddy's facing. So be prepared, man. Be prepared to watch a stellar show.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Not a problem. With that being said, guys, you know, Sean, man, it was an honor to really get to know you a little bit, but I hope I did get to know you more. There you get, and there's the one stutter.
Bro, you went get no.
But like I was saying before, that brain fart, like, you know, I would definitely like to get to know Sean a lot more on a personal level. You know, just outside the wrestling business, because I think he's the kind of guy you would definitely want to have a few drinks with.
Thank you.
He is that type of guy, legitimate guy. I knew this guy from high school. He's this nice in real life, guys. He is this nice. So.
Thank you.
That being said, guys, you know, August 25th, don't miss out, because if you do, what the hell is wrong with you? And being said,
the hell is wrong with you? Watch this show, damn it.
But that being said, guys, Sean, Tyler, have a good the rest of your day.
Thank you, guys.
Out.
3 weeks, everybody. Thank you.